Hi, my name is Ann Jeffrey. Before a brief overview of art making across time and across cultures, I want to talk about my credentials and explain how and why our company, Arthistoryforu, took on this ambitious project, now being piloted by the University of South Florida in St. Petersburg, Florida. This approximately 11-hour art appreciation course available on DVD, leased from us and easily uploaded into your course management software, such as Blackboard, for instance. We believe that this course is going to be truly cost-effective for your institution. We make it easy for you to reach more students online. Any currently available art appreciation or introduction to art textbook can be used along with our course material. We provide orientation support. The assignments and the assessments that I suggest in the series to encourage students to reflect on, to evaluate, and to analyze visual production across time and across cultures can be used by the instructor of record as he or she chooses.
In 2004, I developed a completely online Introduction to Art course for the School of Art and Art History, University of South Florida in Tampa. I continue to offer this course as an adjunct instructor, now 15 semesters later, and having reached well over 5,000 students. During this same period and up to the present, I've been teaching art history live in the classroom for the University of South Florida in St. Petersburg. 19th century art history, 20th century art history, and contemporary issues in art. 7 summers teaching in Paris for the University of South Florida Study Abroad program has also expanded my experience and knowledge of art making and its histories. I received a master's degree in art history, specializing in contemporary art from the University of South Florida in 2001. As a result, issues and examples from contemporary art making are a strong focus of our series. Before returning to graduate school in 1998, my career included writing for theater in Canada and the United States, contributing to the Dictionary of Canadian Biography, published by the University of Toronto Press, and video production. In 1998, I co-authored The Art Lover's Guide to Florida. With the encouragement of my business partner Stephanie Gaskins, a strong practitioner in the business of distance learning and a graduate of the University of Prince Edward Island, I realized I could connect my skills, interests, and teaching experience online, in the classroom, and in Europe to a new production of meaningful student learning about art making across time and cultures. Our first discussion about this project took place nearly 3 years ago. 2 years ago, we attended the CAA conference in Dallas, and our market research indicated interest, especially in online courses that would feature a non-Western focus. Although Stephanie and I came to realize this was a daunting and time-consuming project, we both have remained dedicated to independent production of this online course.
I am aware that you've possibly had different kinds of reactions to online learning, especially about art and its histories. For instance, you might ask, can an art appreciation course be taught entirely online?
Yes, but inadequately in my view if instruction is limited to standing in front of a lectern in a classroom. To fully engage students in our DVD lecture series, Art Making Across Time and Cultures, we've created a dynamic learning environment. For instance, a peer learning focus leads to an on-camera student discussion about concepts such as beauty and ethnocentricity, as well as exploring works of art students feel passionate about. Fortunately, we were able to film artists in their studios, painters, sculptors, printmakers, photographers, and performance artists. We discussed their work habits, their ways of exploring materials, their dreams, and their frustrations. An innovative feature of this online course is on-location filming of lectures at various cultural sites in Europe and in North America. These sites include Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, Chartres Cathedral in France, and Stonehenge in Britain, as well as many others. My lecture style in general is not the sage on the stage. Instead, my intention is to create a learner-centered environment. The student is encouraged to identify critical issues, to inquire into the purposes of art, to actively examine and compare objects across time and cultures, as well as carefully reflecting upon the contextual issues surrounding object making. Although Stephanie and I initiated this project, Stephanie behind the camera, me preparing and presenting the content, we desperately needed creative and technical support. Over 2 years ago, Matthew Morgan, a graphic designer, joined the project. Matthew is a graduate of graphic design. Later, we were further assisted by Goiko Nick Picaza, editor, and Julia Mullins, a graphic designer and a graduate of graphic design. The fifth member of our working team is painter and sculptor Marta Slaughter, a Master of Fine Arts graduate. Marta frequently assists me as an on-camera instructor, and she is piloting the course as instructor for art making across time and cultures. In addition, all the faces you see here belong to either students or artists who appear in our course content.
We're going to show you now some samples of the content.
Course content is organized into 4 major parts. Part 1, Seeing Across Time and Cultures. Part 2, The Artist's Aesthetic Tools. Part 3, What are the Artist's Materials? And Part 4, Architecture, Timelines, and a History of Art. Each part contains a number of chapters. For instance, Part 1 includes chapters on visual literacy, how context and subjectivity shape our viewing and understanding of art, comparative analysis as a tool for understanding art across time and cultures, as well as purposes of art. In Part 2, we continue to analyze visual cultures comparatively, but within the framework or context of examining the artist's exploration of the formal elements. For instance, here Marta Slaughter is demonstrating ways that Western artists traditionally may construct illusions of space. We contrast this with an example of the Native American artist's greater interest in abstraction. The last chapter of Part 2 offers a specific introduction to entering the museum environment and completing an assignment. Here, the example is the Museum of Fine Arts in St. Petersburg, Florida. In Part 3, as we mentioned earlier, to demonstrate the range of complexity of artist materials, we talk with many different artists at work. Here is painter Neil Bender, assistant professor of art at the University of South Florida, and Erica Greenberg Schneider, master printer in her workshop in Tampa, Florida. In Part 4, we've given a brief survey of architecture across time and cultures, which suggests in itself a timeline for a history of art. Most introduction to art textbooks include timelines and chronologies, attempting to illustrate the complex histories of art, and instructors may wish to rely on course textbooks for those studies. We decided instead, because Parts 1, 2, and 3 already provide detailed contextual discussions surrounding visual production across time and cultures, to invite groups of graduate and undergraduate students to talk about works of art meaningful to them, to see what issues might be raised. We were not disappointed. Although we provide some linkage between students and observations, we suggest this portion of Part 4 attests to the merit of peer learning.
We hope that you're interested in reaching more students online with art making across time and across cultures. To find out more about leasing and our support options, you can contact me, Anne, at arthistoryforu.com. You can also visit our website for more information. We are anticipating that the course material will be available in Spanish by spring 2011, and at about that same time we anticipate publication of a student guide to our series of lectures as well as an instructor's guide.